Gentles, prepare your tear-bedecked eyes to see a show of lamentation, besprinkled everywhere with guiltless blood, of harmless youth and pretty innocence. Our stage doth wear habiliments of woe. Truth ruse to tell the truth of these laments. This one was done in famous London late, within that street whose side the river Thames doth strive to wash from all impurity. But yet that silver stream can never wash the sad remembrance of that cursed deed performed by cruel Mary on Just Beach and his true boy, poor Thomas Winchester. The most here present doth know this to be true. Would truth were false, so this were but a tale. Look not for mirth, unless you take delight in mangled bodies and in gaping wounds, bloodily made by mercy-wanting hands. Truth will not feign, but yet doth grieve to show this deed of ruth and miserable woe.
discontented state. But wherefore should I think of discontent? I am beloved, I have a pretty house, a loving sister, and a careful man that do not think their day's work will end unless it bring me in some benefit. And well frequented is my little house with many guests and honest passengers, which may in time advance my humble state to greater wealth and reputation. And here comes friends to drink some beer or ale. They are my neighbours, they shall have the best.
Come, neighbour Beach, let's have our morning's draught, and we'll go drink it at young Mary's house. They say you have the best in all the town. Besides, they say he is an honest man, and keeps good rule and orders in his house.
He's so indeed. His conversation is full of honest, harmless courtesy. I dare presume, if that he be within, he'll serve us well and keep us company. See where he is. Go in, I'll follow you. Yes, strain no courtesy, you shall go before.
You're welcome, neighbour. You are welcome, sir. Pray sit down. You're very welcome, both.
Well, we thank you for it, and we think no less. Now, fill 2 cans of your old strongest beer that makes so many lose their little wits and make indentures as they go along.
Home, Sister Rachel. Presently. Go draw these gentlemen 2 cans of beer. Your negligence that cannot tend the shop will make our customers forsake the house. And where's Harry Williams that he stays not here?
Myself was busy dressing up the house. As for your man, he is not very well, but sitteth sleeping by the kitchen fire.
You're busy, get you up again. I'll draw my neighbours, then their drink myself. I'll warrant you, as good as any man's, and yet no better. Many have the like.
That shows him for an honest man that will not flutter with too many words. Some shrill-tongued fellows would have said, I'll draw the best in Christendom.
He's none of those, but bears an honest mind, and shames to utter what he cannot prove. But here he comes. Is that the best you have?
It is the best upon mine honest word.
Then drink to us.
I'll drink unto you both.
Oh, thank you both.
And thank you heartily.
Here's to you, sir.
I thank you. 'Tis good indeed. And I had rather drink such beer as this as any Gascoigne wine. But 'tis our English manner to affect strange things and rate them at a greater price than homebred things of better consequence.
'Tis true indeed. If all were of your mind, my poor estate would sooner be advanced, and our French merchants seek some other trade.
Your poor estate, nay, neighbour, say not so, for God be thanked, you are well to live.
Not so, good neighbour, but a poor young man that would live better if I had the means. But as I am, I can content myself till God amend my poor ability.
In time, no doubt. Why, man, you are but young. And God, assure yourself, hath wealth in store, if you await his will with patience.
Thanks be to God, I live contentedly, and yet I cannot boast of mighty wealth. But yet God's mercies have been infinite and far beyond my expectation. My shop is stored, I am not much in debt, and here I speak it where I may be bold, I have a score of pounds to serve my turn, if God should stretch his hand to visit me with sickness or such like adversity.
Enough of this. Now, neighbour, what's to pay?
2pence, good sir.
Oh, nay, pray, sir, forbear. I'll pay this reckoning, since it is but small.
I will not strive if you will have it so.
Neighbour, farewell.
Farewell unto you both. His shop is stored. He is not much in debt. He hath a score of pounds to buy a bargain with. Aye, and a score of pounds too, if the truth were known. I would I had a shop so stored with wares, and £40 to buy a bargain with when as occasion offered me. I'd live as merry as the wealthiest man that hath his being within London walls. But I cannot buy my beer, my bread, my meat, my faggots, coals, such like necessaries at the best hand, because I lack the coin that other misers coffer up in bags, having enough to serve their turn besides. Through a trick to make this beach's trash forsake his coffer and to rest in mine. Marry, sir, how may that trick be done? Marry with ease and great facility. I will invent a newfound stratagem to bring his coin to my possession. What? Though his death relieve my poverty, gain weight on courage, loss on cowardice, peace, conscience, peace, thou art too scrupulous. Gain doth attend this resolution. I can, I must, I will kill my best friend to get a bag of gold. They shall die both, but they have 1,000 lives. And therefore, I will place this hammer here and take it as I follow Beach upstairs, that suddenly, before he is aware, I may with blows dash out his hateful brains. Oh, Sister Rachel, bring my cloak, look to the house. I will return again immediately.
Here it is, brother. I pray you, stay not long. Guests will come in, 'tis almost supper time.
Let others sup. I'll make a bloodier feast than ever yet was dressed in Mary's house. Be like thyself then, have a merry heart. Thou shalt have gold to mend thy poverty, and after this live ever wealthy. Then Mary must pass to Beech's shop. Neighbour Beech, so godly occupied?
Aye, Master Mary, it were better read than meditate on idle fantasies.
Ah, you speak the truth. There is a friend or two of yours making merry in my house and would desire to have your company.
Know you their names?
No, truly, nor the men. I never stood to question them of that, but they desire your presence earnestly.
I pray you, tell them that I cannot come. 'Tis supper time, and men will at this time resort for wear more than at other time. 'Tis Friday night beside, and Bartholomew Eve, therefore, good neighbour, make my just excuse.
In truth, they told me that you should not stay, but not an if my hand and hammer hold.
I am unwilling, but I do not care, and if I go and see the company,
Well, come quickly then. They think we stay too long.
I'll cut a piece of cheese to drink withal.
Take farewell of your cutting knife. Here is a hand shall help to cut your throat and give myself a fairing from your chest. Oh, what, are you ready? Will you go along?
Now I am. Boy, now look you, tend the shop. If any ask, come with me to the bull. I wonder who they are that ask for me.
I know not that. You shall see presently. Go up those stairs. Your friends do stay above. Here is a friend shall shake you by the head and make you stagger ere he speak to you. Now you are safe. The boy was so. But wherefore wish I, for he shall not live. For if he live, I shall not live myself. Let's see what money he hath in his purse. Mass, he is 10 brutes. He is something for my pains, but I must be rewarded better yet.
Who was it, Rachel, who went up the stairs?
It was my brother, and I think a man of black complexion, but I know him not.
Why do you not then carry up a light, but suffer them to tarry in the dark?
I had forgot, but I will bear one up.
Do so, I prithee. He will chide anon.
Oh, brother! Brother, what have you done? Why, murdered one that would have murdered me. We are undone, brother. We are undone. What shall I say, for we are quite undone? Quiet thyself, sister. All shall be well. But see, in any case, you do not tell this deed to Williams, nor to anyone. No, I'll not. We are quite undone. Was not Master Beech? It was. It is. And I will kill his man, or in attempting, do the best I can.
What was the matter that you cried so loud?
I must not tell you, but we are undone.
You must not tell me that we are undone. I'll know the cause wherefore we are undone.
Would the thing were still to do again, the thought thereof doth rent my heart in twain.
Oh, master, Master, what have you done?
Why, slain a knave that would have murdered me. Better to kill than to be killed myself.
With what? Wherewith? How have you slain the man?
Why, with this hammer, I knocked out his brains.
Oh, it was beastly so to butcher him. If there were any quarrel twixt him and you should have bade him meet you in the field, not like a coward under your own roof. To knock him down as he had been an ox, or silly sheep prepared for slaughterhouse. The Lord is just and will revenge his blood on you and yours for this extremity. I will not stay an hour within your house. 'Tis the wickedest deed that e'er was done.
Oh, sir, content yourself. All shall be well. What's done already cannot be undone.
Would to God this deed was still to do, and I were privy to your ill intent. You should not do it then for all the world, but prithee, Harry, do not leave the house, for then suspicion will arise thereof, and if the thing be known, we are undone.
Forsake the house! I will not stay all night, though you will give the wealth of Christendom.
But yet conceal it for the love of God, if otherwise I know not what to do.
Here is my hand. I will not utter it, assure yourself of that. And so, farewell.
But swear to me, as God shall help your soul, you will not tell it unto anyone.
I will not swear it, but take my honest word. So, farewell. My soul assureth me, God will revenge this damned iniquity. What shall become of me, unhappy wretch? I dare not stay in my master's house, lest his murderous hand should kill me too. I will go walk and wander up and down, and seek some rest till the day appear. The three cranes in some hay lost are lying, wail my master's coming misery.
Oh, my dear brother, what a heap of woe your rashness hath poured down upon your head. Where shall we hide this trumpet of your shame, this timeless ugly map of cruelty? Brother, if Williams do reveal the truth, then, brother, then begins our scene of ruth.
I fear not Williams, but I fear the boy who knew I fetched his master to my house.
But doth the boy know whereabouts you dwell?
Aye, and that torments me worse than pangs of hell. The boy must die, or else he'll utter all.
Hark, brother, hark, methinks I hear one call.
Go down and see. Oh, pray God my man keep close. If he be long-tongued, then my days are done. The boy must die. There is no help at all, for on his life my very life depends. Besides, I cannot compass what I would unless the boy be swiftly made away. This, that abridged his hapless master's days, shall leave such sound memorials on his head that he will quite forget who did him harm, or trained his master to this bloody feast. Why, how now, Rachel? Who did call below?
The maid that came to have a penny loaf.
Oh, would a penny loaf cost me £1, provided Beech's boy had eat his last?
Perchance the boy doth not remember you.
But I'll remember him, and send him quickly with a bloody scroll to greet his master in another world.
I'll go to Beecher's on a feigned excuse to see if he will ask me for his master.
No, get you up, you shall not stir abroad, and when I call, come quickly to the door.
My brother, or that, or anything beside to please your mind or ease your misery.
I am knee-deep. I'll wade up to the waist to end my heart of fear and to attain the hoped end of my ambition. But I may see, if I have eyes to see, and if my understanding be not blind, how many dangers do already wait upon my steps of bold security. Williams is fled, perchance to utter all. Nay, that's but perchance, nor rather flatly no. And if he should speak, I can but die a death. Should he conceal, the boy will utter it. The boy must die, there is no remedy.
Wonder that my master stays so long. I do not want to be abroad this late. Yonder comes one. I think that same is he.
I see the boy sits at his master's door. Or now or never, Mary. Stir thyself to rid thy heart of fear and jealousy. Thomas Winchester, go quickly to your shop. Watch, sit you still. Your master is at hand. Oh God, I think there's thieves in Beech's shop.
What cruel hand hath done so foul a deed, thus to bemangle a distressed youth, without all pity or such a due remorse? See how the hammer sticketh in his head, wherewith this honest youth is done to death. Speak, honest Thomas, if any speech remain. What cruel hand hath done this villainy? Cannot speak, his senses are bereft. Ho, neighbour Loney, pray come down with speed. Your tenant Beech's man is murdered.
What? Would you have some mustard?
Your tenant Beech's man is murdered.
Oh, smothered. Oh, I think you lucky wit. What, neighbour? What makes you here so late?
I was affrighted by a sudden cry, and coming down found Master Beech's man thus, with a hammer sticking in his head.
Whoa! Oh, poor Thomas Winchester. The truest soul that ever master had. Where's Master Beech?
Nay, no one can tell. Did you see any running from the door when you looked out and heard the young man cry?
Yes, I saw two truly to my thinking. They ran away as fast as their hands could bend. By my troth, it was so dark I could see nobody. Pray God, Master Beech hath not harmed his boy in his patience. If he has, he must be hanged in his collar.
Oh, I do not think he will strike him thus. God help his master is not slain himself. The night draws late. We will have this corpse watched all night. Tomorrow we shall see whence sprang this strange and civil cruelty.
Neighbour, good night.
Neighbours all, good night.
Pray God, I ne'er see such sad sights.
Sister, now I am pursued. The mighty clamour that the boy did make raised the neighbours round about the streets, so that I know not where to hide myself.
Brother, have you killed Beech's boy?
No, not I, but yet another hath. Oh, come to bed, can only be described the fearfullest night that ever Mary knew. Sister, now all my gold expected hopes of future good is plainly vanished, and in her stead grim visaged despair hath taken possession of my guilty soul. Desire to gain began this desperate act. Now plain appearance of destruction of soul and body waits upon my sin. Although we hide our sins from mortal men, whose glass of knowledge is the face of man, the eye of heaven beholds our wickedness, and will no doubt revenge the innocent.
Ah, do not so disconsolate yourself, nor add new streams of sorrow to your grief, which, like a spring tide, overswells the banks, lest you do make an inundation and so be borne away with swiftest tides.
Have you brought the bag?
Aye, brother, here it is. What is to do?
Bear hence Beech's body in the night.
You cannot take so great a weight yourself, and is no trusting of another man.
Yes, I will bear enough as I will order it. I'll cut in piecemeal. First his head and legs will be one burden, then the mangled rest will be another, which I will transport beyond the water in a ferry boat and fling it into Paris Garden ditch. Fetch the chopping knife, and in the mean, I'll move the faggots that do cover him.
What can you find in heart to cut and carve his stone-cold flesh, and rob the greedy grave of his dissevered, blood-besprinkled limbs?
Aye, Mary, can I? Fetch the chopping knife.
This deed is worse than when you took his life.
But worse or better, now it must be so. Better to do thus than feel a greater woe.
Here is the knife. I cannot stay to see this barbarous deed of inhumanity.
Ye glorious beams of that bright shining lamp that lights the star-bespangled firmament and dims the glimmering shadows of the night. Why dost thou lend assistance to this wretch to shamble forth with bold audacity his limbs that bears thy maker's semblance? All you, the sad spectators of this act, whose hearts do taste a feeling pensiveness for this unheard of savage massacre, all be far off to harbour such a thought as this audacious murderer. I see your sorrows flow up to the brim and overflow your cheeks with brinish tears. But though this sight brings surfeit to the eye, delight your ears with pleasing harmony, that ears may countercheck your eyes and say, why shed you tears? This deed is but a play. His work is done. He seeks to hide his sin. I'll wail his woe before his woe begin.
Now will I hie me to the waterside, fling this heavy burden in a ditch, whereof my soul doth feel so great a weight that it doth almost press me down with fear. Spark, Rachel, I will to the water straight and fling this middle mention of a man into some ditch. Then hie me home again to rid my house of that is left behind.
Where have you laid the legs and battered head?
Under the faggots, where they lay before. Here, help me to put this trunk into the bag.
I cannot bear so great. My heart will not endure to handle it. The sight hereof doth make me quake for fear.
I'll do it myself. Only wipe up the blood, and then burn the cloths, as you have done before.
Fear thy soul will burn in flames of hell. Lest true repentance wash away thy sin with cleansing tears of true contrition. Did not nature oversway my will, the world should know this plot of damned ill.
I have bestowed a watery funeral on the half-body of my butchered friend. The head and legs I'll leave in some dark place. I care not if they find them, yea or no.
Where do you mean to leave the head and legs?
In some dark place near to Barnard's castle.
Do it closely, that you be not seen, for all this while you are without suspect.
Take you no thought, I'll have a care of that. Only take heed, you have a special care to make no show of any discontent, nor use too many words to anyone. I will return when I have left my load. Be merry, Rachel. Half the fear is past.
I will never think myself secure. This deed would trouble any quiet soul to think thereof, much more to see it done. Such foul deeds can never long be hid, although we practise ne'er so cunningly. Let others open what I do conceal. Lo, he is my brother, I will cover it. And rather die than have it spoken rife. Lo, where she goes, betrayed her brother's life.
Why, how now, Harry? What should be the cause that thou art grown so discontented late?
Thy heavy looks, thy eyes brimful of tears, thy sighs do show some inward testimony. Bears testimony to some secret grief. Reveal it, Harry. I will be thy friend and help thee to my poor ability.
If I am heavy, if I often sigh, and if my eyes bear record of my woe, condemn me not, for I have mighty cause, more than I would impart to anyone.
Do you misdoubt me, that you dare not tell that woe to me that moves your discontent?
Good Master Cowley, you were ever kind. Pardon me. I will not utter it to anyone, for I have passed my word, and therefore urge me not to tell my grief.
But those that smother grief too secretly may waste themselves in silent anguishment, and bring their bodies to so low an end, that all the world can never make his flow unto the happy height of former health. Then, be not injurious to thyself, to waste thy strength in lamentation, but tell thy case, we'll seek some remedy.
The cause of grief is now remediless, and all the world can never lessen it. And then, since no means can make my sorrows less, suffer me to wail a woe which wants redress.
Yet let me bear a part in thy laments. I love thee not so ill, but I will moan. Thy heavy haps thou shalt not sigh alone.
Nay, if you are so curious to intrude yourself to sorrow where you have no share, I'll frequent some unfrequented place where none shall see nor hear my lamentation.
And I will follow wheresoe'er thou go. I will be partner to thy helpless woe.
I'm sorry, I'm going to do something. The body needs to appear at this point,
Well, it's not a time when we should go to our boats. Give attendance with what we need toes. Folks be stirring early in the morning.
Why, my troth, I'm indifferent whether I go or no. If they come, why so? If not, why so? If I have not their money, they shall have none of my labour.
But we that live by our labours must give attendance. Where lies thy boat?
Barnard's castle stairs.
So does mine. Let's go together.
Come, I'm indifferent. I care not so much for going. For if I go with you, why so? If not, why so? What rascal has laid this in my way?
Well, he was not very indifferent that did so. But you are so peremptory to say why so and why so, that everyone is glad to do you injury. Let's see, what's in it? Oh, good Lord deliver us, 'tis a man's leg. Oh, and a head. With many wounds.
So much. I'm indifferent. Yet for my own part, I understand the misery of it. If you do, why so? If not, why so?
I understand no misery, but this is a very strange and rueful sight. Prithee, what dost thou conceive of it?
In truth, I'm indifferent. Yes.
But if I tell you why so, it's not why
Or if
so.
I tell you why so. If not, why so?
If thou tell me, I'll thank thee. Therefore, I prithee, tell me.
I tell you I'm indifferent. To be plain with you, I am grieved to stumble at the hangman's budget.
At the hangman's budget, this is a
And
sad...
to speak indifferently, it is the hangman's budget. Because he thought too much of his labour to set this head upon the bridge and the legs upon the gate, he flings them in the street for men to see. If I ever get him in my boat, I will so belabour him in a stretcher that he'd better be stretched in one of his own hackney halters. If this be a good conceit, why so? If not, why so?
Thou deceived. This head hath many wounds, and hose and shoes remaining on the legs. Well, always butchers all quarter traitors quiet.
I am indifferent whether you believe me or no. These were not worth taking off. Therefore he left them on. If this be likely, why so? If not, why so?
Nay, now I see you go from worse to worse. I heard last night, and there was one near Lambert Hill was missing, and his boy murdered. It could be that this is part of that same man. Whate'er it be, I'll bear it to that place.
Mass, I'm indifferent. Go along with you. For if it be so, why so? If not, why so?
Master Lenny! Hear you any news? What has become of your tenant Beach?
No, truly, sir, not any news at all.
What, hath the boy recovered any speech to give us light upon these suggestions that do arise upon this accident?
There is no hope he should recover speech. The wives do say he's ready now to leave this grievous world full fraught with treachery.
Methinks if Beach himself be innocent, then that the murderer should not dwell far off. The hammer that is sticking in his head was borrowed of a cutler dwelling by, but he remembers not who borrowed it. He is committed that did own the hammer, yet he stands upon his innocence, and Beach's absence causeth great suspicion.
If Beach be faulty, which I do not think, I never was so much deceived before. Oh, if you had known his conversation, you would not have him in suspicion.
Devils seem saints, and in these hateful times, deceit can bear apparent signs of truth, and vice bear show of virtue's excellence.
Pray, is this Master Beach's house?
My afraid this same is Master Beach's shop. We cannot tell whether he live or no.
Know you his head, and if I show it you, can you tell what hose and shoes he wore at that same time when he forsook the shop?
What? Have you head, and hose, and shoes to show, and want the body that should use the same?
Behold his head. These legs, these hose, these shoes, and see if they are beeches, yea or no.
Oh, they are the same, but what is become of the remainder of this wretched man?
Nay, that I know not. Only these we found as we were coming down the narrow lane near Barnard's Castle, where we both do dwell, and hearing that a man was missing, hence we thought it good to bring these to this place.
Thanks, good friends. There's something for thy painting.
We are indifferent whether you give us anything or not. Or if you had not, why so? But since you have, why so?
Leave your repining, sir. We thank you heartily.
Farewell, good fellows.
Farewell, good fellows. Now, neighbour, be bold. They dwell not far that did this dreadful deed, as God no doubt at last will reveal, though they conceal it ne'er so cunningly. Rest.
All houses, gutters, sinks, and crevices.
All houses, gutters, sinks, and crevices have carefully been sought for the blood. Yet there's no instance found in any place.
But who is that bears a heavy load behind him on a painful porter's back?
Pray, gentlemen, which call you Bitch's shop?
This is the place. What would you with the man?
Nothing with the man. I hear that he is dead. Well, if he is not, I have lost my pains.
He's dead indeed, but yet we do not know what has become of half his hopeless body. His legs and head are found, but for the rest, what has become of it, no one can tell what has become of it.
And I do think I can resolve your doubts and bring you certain tidings of the rest. You know the doublet and the shirt. As for the body, it is so abused that no man can tell whose it was. Set down this burden of another shame. What know you the doublet and the hose?
Oh, this is the doublet. And these, the severed limbs that later were joined to that mangled trunk. Lay them together. See if they can make among them all a sound and solid man.
They all agree. But yet they cannot make that sound and whole that the remorseless hand have severed with a knife of cruelty. But I, good sir, where did you find this out?
Walking the time by Paris Garden Ditch, having my water spaniel by my side, when we approached unto that hapless place where this same trunk lay drowned in a ditch, my spaniel began to set, to bark, to plunge into the water, and came forth again, and fawned on me as if a man should say, "Help out, a man that lies here murdered." First, I took delight to see the dog, thinking in vain that some game did there lay hid among the nettles growing near the bank. But when no game nor anything appeared that might produce the spaniel to their sport, I began to rate and beat the harmless cur, thinking to make him leave to follow me. But words nor blows could move the dog away, but still he leapt, he ran, he barked, and plunged down to my side, as if it were for help. I, seeing this, did make the ditch be dragged, wherein was found this body, as you see, with great amazement to the lookers on.
Behold the mighty miracles of God, that senseless things should propagate their sin, that are more bestial far than beastliness, of any creature most insensible.
Cease we to wonder at God's wondrous works, and let us labour for to bring to light those masked fiends that thus dishonour him. This sack is new, and lo, behold, his mark remains upon it, which did sell the bag. Amongst the salters we shall find it out, when and to whom this bag was sold.
'Tis very likely. Let no pains be spared to bring it out, if it be possible. Pity such a murder go unpunished amongst infidels and Turks.
Sirs, I do know the man that sold this bag, and if you please, I'll fetch him presently.
Perhaps the murder may thus come to light. I pray you do it, we will tarry here. And let the eyes of every passenger be satisfied, which may example be how they commit so dreadful wickedness.
And appease your masterships. The boy is dead.
Oh, 'tis very strange that having many wounds, so terrible, so ghastly, which is more having the hammer sticking in his head, that he should live and stir from Friday night to Sunday morning, and even now depart when that his master's mangled corpse were found. Bring him forth too. Perhaps the murderers may have their hearts touched with due remorse, viewing the deeds of damned wickedness. Bring forth the boy, lay him by beach.
This is the salter's man that sold the bag.
My friend, how long since did you sell that bag? And unto whom, remember?
Well, I sold this bag, good sir, but yesterday, unto a maid. I do not know her name.
Nor where she dwells?
No, certainly.
But what apparel had she on her back?
I do not know well what wig she wore, but if I knew her, I should see her sure.
Go round about the neighbours' houses, and will them show their maids immediately. God grant we may find out the murderers. Go to one house, knock a door, asking, bring forth such maids as are within your house. And bring forth such maids as are within your house.
I want one, I'll send her down to you.
Is this the maid? Come out, maid.
No, sir, this is not she.
How many maids dwell within this house?
There's no women here.
Whose house is this?
An honest civil man's called Master Merry. I do not swear he would do such a dreadful murder, but you may ask here too, for fashion's sake.
How now, fair maid? Dwells any here but you? Thou hast too true a face for such a deed.
No, gentle sir, my brother keeps no more.
This is not she?
No, truly, gentlemen.
This will not serve. We cannot find her out. Bring in the body, it grows towards night. God, bring these damned murderers at length to light.
The neighbours round about the street to every house. What? Hast thou heard the cause?
They go about with that same salter's man of whom I bought the bag but yesterday to see if he will know the maid again that bought it. This, I think, the very cause.
Oh, how were my senses overcome with fear that I could not foresee this jeopardy, for had I brought the bag away with me, they had not had this means to find it out. Get thee above, lest that the salter sort of man take notice of thee that thou art the maid, and by this knowledge would be all undone?
That fear is past. I spake with him, yet he denies that I did buy the bag. Besides, the neighbours have no doubt of you, saying you are an honest, harmless man, and made inquiry here for fashion's sake.
My former life deserved their good conceits, were it not blemished with this treachery. But my heart is merrier than it was before, for now I hope the greatest fear is past. The hammer is denied, the bag unknown. Now is there left no means to bring it out, unless ourselves prove traitors to ourselves.
When saw you Harry Williams?
Oh, why, today I met him coming home from Paul's Cross, where he'd been to hear a sermon.
Why brought you not that man along with you to come to dinner, that we might persuade him to continue in his secrecy?
I did entreat him, but he would not come, but vowed to be as secret as myself.
What did he swear?
What need you ask me that? You know we never heard him swear an oath, but since he hath concealed the thing thus long, I hope in God he will conceal it still.
Pray God he do. And then I have no doubt that God will overpass this grievous sin, if you lament with true, unfeigned tears, and seek to live the remnant of your years in God's true fear and upright conscience.
If it would please him, pardon this amiss, and rid my body from the open shame that doth attend this deed being brought to light, I would endeavour all my coming days to please my Maker and extol his praise. But it grows late. Bring me to my bed, that I may rest my sorrow-charged head.
Rest still in calm, secure tranquillity, and overblow this storm of mighty fear. Go when you will. I will attend and pray to send this woeful night a cheerful day.
Still in your dumps, good Harry, yet at last utter your motive of this heaviness. Why go you not unto your master's house? What, are you parted? Oh, if that be the cause, I will provide you of a better place.
Who rows all day at length may hit the mark. That is the cause, because I cannot stay with him whose love is dearer than my life.
Why fell you out? Why did you part so soon?
He fell not out, but fear hath parted us.
What? Did he fear your truth and honest life?
No, your understanding is but dim. That far removed cannot judge the fear. We both were fearful, and we both did part, because indeed we both were timorous.
What accident begot your mutual fear?
That which my heart hath promised to conceal.
Oh, now you fall into your ancient vein.
'Tis vain to urge me from my silent vein. I will conceal it, though it breed my pain.
It seems to be a thing of consequence, and therefore, prithee, Harry, for my love, open this close, fast, clasped mystery.
Were I assured my heart should have release of secret torment and distemperature, I would reveal it to you, especially who I have found my faithful favourite.
Good Harry Williams, make no doubt of that. Besides, your grief revealed may have relief beyond your present expectation. Then tell it, Harry, whatsoe'er it be, and ease your heart of horror, me of doubt.
What have you heard of Beach of Lambert Hill and his boy which late were murdered?
I heard and saw their mangled carcasses.
But have you heard of them that murdered them?
No, would I had, but then I'd blaze their shame, and make them pay due penance for their sin.
This I misdoubted, therefore will forbear what I thoughts were uttered.
Knowest thou the actors of this murderous deed, and wilt conceal it now the deed is done? Alas, poor man, thou knowest not what thou dost. Thou hast incurred the danger of the law, and thou amongst them must suffer punishment, unless thou do confess it presently.
What, shall I then betray my master's life?
Better than hazard both thy life and soul to bolster out such barbarous villainy. Why then belike your master did the deed?
My master unawares escaped my mouth. But What the Lord doth please to come to light cannot be hid by human policy. His hapless hand hath wrought the fatal end of Robert Beach and Thomas Winchester.
Could he alone do both those men to death? Hadst thou no share in execution?
Nor knew not of it till the deed was done.
If this be true, thou mayst escape with life. Confess the truth unto the officers, and thou shalt find the favour of the law.
If I offended, it was my master's love that made me hide his great transgressions, but I will be directed as you please. So save me God, as I am innocent.
Who would have thought, of all the men alive, that Thomas Merry would have done this deed so full of ruth and monstrous wickedness?
Of all the men that live in London's walls, I would have thought that Mary had been free.
Is this the fruits of saint-like Puritans? Never like such damned hypocrisy.
He would not lose a sermon for a pound. An oath he thought would rend his jaw in twain, an idle word would whet God's vengeance on. Yet 2 murders were not scrupulous. Such close allusions will God bring to light. Overthrow the workers with his might.
This is the house. Come, let us knock at the door. I see a light. They are not all in bed. How now, fair maid, and is your brother up?
He's not within, sir. Would you speak with him?
You do but jest. I know he is within, and I must needs go up and speak to him.
Indeed, good sir. He is in bed, asleep, and I was loath to trouble him tonight.
Well, sister, I am sorry for your sake, but for your brother's, he is known to be a damned villain and an hypocrite. Rachel, I charge thee, in her highness' name, to come with us to prison presently.
Prison, sir? Alas, what have I
Now
done?
you know that best, but everyone doth know you and your brother murdered Master Beach and his poor boy that dwelt at Lambert Hill.
My brother knows that I did not consent to either of their deaths.
Well, that must be tried. Where doth your brother lie?
Here in his bed. Methinks he's not asleep.
Oh, Master Merry. Are you in a sweat?
Oh, verily I am not in a sweat.
Some sudden fear affrights you. What's the cause?
Why, nothing but that you waked me unawares.
In the Queen's name, I do command you rise and presently to go along with us.
With all my heart. What, dost thou know the cause?
We partly do. When saw you Master Beach?
I do not well remember who you mean.
Not Beach the chandler upon Lambert Hill.
Oh, I know the man, but saw him not this fortnight.
I would you had not for your sister's sake, for yours, for his, and for his helpless boy. Be not obdurate in your wickedness. Confession draws repentance after it.
Well, Master Constable, I do confess I was the man that did them both to death. But as for my sister and my harmless man, I do protest. They are both innocent.
Your man is fast in hold and hath confessed the manner how and where the deed was done. Therefore, 'twere vain to colour anything. Bring him away.
Brother, woe is me. I, comfortless, will help to comfort thee.
Weep, weep, poor souls, and interchange your woes. Now merry change thy name and countenance. Smile not, thou wretched creature, lest in scorn thou smile to think on thy extremities. Thy woes were countless for thy wicked deeds. Thy sister's death need not increase the count, but thou couldst never number them before. Gentles, help out with this suppose, I pray, and think it truth, for truth doth tell the tale. Mary, by law convict as principal, receives his doom to hang till he be dead, and afterwards for to be hanged in chains. William's and Rachel's likewise are convict for their concealment. Williams craves his book, and so receives a brand of infamy, but wretched Rachel's sex denies that grace, and therefore doth receive a doom of death, to die with him whose sin she would conceal. Your eyes shall witness of their shaded types, which many here did see performed indeed. Next, Mary's death shall end this tragedy.
Now, Sister Rachel, is the hour come wherein we both must satisfy the law for Beech's death and harmless Winchester. Oh, weep not, sweet sister, for that cannot help. I do confess for all this company that thou wert never privy to their deaths, but only help me when the deed was done to wipe blood and hide away my sin. And since this fault hath brought thee to this shame, I do entreat thee on my bended knee to pardon me for thus offending thee.
I do forgive you from my very soul. Think not that I shed this store of tears for that I price my life or fear to die, though I confess the manner of my death is much more grievous than my death itself. But I lament for that it hath been said I was the author of this cruelty, and did produce you to this wicked deed, for God knows that I am innocent.
Oh, indeed thou art. Thy conscience is at peace and feels no terror for this wickedness. Mine hath been vexed, but is now at rest, for that I'm assured my heinous sin will never rise in judgment against my soul, but that the blood of Jesus Christ hath power to turn my purple sin as white as snow. One thing, good people, witness here with me, that I do die in perfect charity, and do forgive as I would be forgiven, first of my God, and then of all the world. Cease publishing that I have been a man trained up in murder and in cruelty, for this time is all too soon. I never slew, nor did consent to kill, so help me God, as this I speak is true. I could say something of my innocence in fornication and adultery, but I confess, the justest man alive that bears about the frailty of man cannot excuse himself from daily sin. In thought, in word, and deed, such was my life. I never hated Beech in all my life, only desire of money, which he had, and the inciting of that foe of man, that greedy gulf, that great Leviathan did haul me on to these calamities for which even now my very soul doth bleed. God, grant me patience to endure this chastisement, which I confess too small a punishment for this my heinous sin. Be courageous, sister. Bear it well. We shall be crowned with immortality.
I will not faint, but combat manfully. Christ is of strength to help me.
I pray make haste, the hour is almost past.
I am prepared. O God, receive my soul. Forgive my sins, for they are numberless. Receive me, God, for now I come to thee.
Nay, shrink not, woman. Have a cheerful heart.
Aye, so I do. And yet this sinful flesh will be rebellious against my willing spirit. Come, let me climb these stairs that lead to heaven, though they seem the stairs of infamy. Let me be mirror to ensuing times, and teach all sisters how they do conceal the wicked deeds of brethren or of friends. I not repent me of my love for him, but that, Thereby I have provoked God to heavy wrath and indignation, the which turn away, great God, for Christ's sake. Ah, Harry Williams, thou wert chiefest cause that I do drink of this most bitter cup. For had thou opened Beecher's death at first, the boy had lived, and thou hadst spared my life, but thou art branded with a mark of shame, and I forgive thee from my very soul. Let him and me learn all that hear of this, to utter, brothers, all their masters miss, conceal no murder, lest it do beget more bloody deeds of like deformity. Thus, God, forgive my sins, receive my soul, and though my dinner be of bitter death, I hope my soul shall sup with Jesus Christ and see his presence everlastingly.
The Lord of heaven have mercy on her soul, and teach all others by this spectacle to shun the dangers that she ran into by her misguided taciturnity. Cut down these bodies. Give hers funeral, but let this body be conveyed hence to Mile End Green, there to be hanged in chains.
See here the end of lucre and desire, of riches gotten by unlawful means. What monstrous evils it hath brought to pass, your scarce dry eyes could testimony. The brother brings his sister so to open scandal and contemptuous death.